So with Sparking Zero's new trailer out, we got some more reveals like UI Goku and whatever else. Because I'm honestly like I'm so disappointed right now that it's hard to continue. Now, don't get me wrong. I know Sparking Zero's it looks amazing. I know it has a lot of work going into it, but there are a bunch of flaws that really trip me out right now. And it's really more pertaining to the fact that they really tried to push the whole most characters in the series thing when after looking at this roster and seeing what we had to get, it's kind of small, really. It's smaller than Tenkaichi 3, really, even. Uh, if you count all the characters that they have shown us, you get 80 characters. Well, at least this portion right here that shows all the way up to the fusion trailer. If you count this, it's 80 characters. But if you count all characters and their transformation as one character, it drops to 48. 48 characters and 32 transformations. That's that's shocking. You claim that this is going to be the biggest game ever, and then there's this information. And then all of these white spots that I have shown are like characters that we are expecting to get. Like we have Jason Birder, so you would expect the rest of the Ginyu Force, Ginyu, Guldo, and Raccoon. Then you have Cell, all his forms, first form, second form, and super perfect. Frieza, same thing. Uh, his full power. Then you have his third, his second, and his first form. And that's not counting if they use a different final form Frieza for his super variation, which I don't know if they're gonna do, but obviously Golden Frieza's obviously just counted anyway because they did reveal him actually in the last trailer too. Uh, all the red spots are characters that we can't really say for sure who it could be, but there are some that I have that are marked off for character slots that I guess you could say maybe they won't be on the game, like Cyberman, Cell Junior. I have them marked in spots because I would assume that these characters will be in the game because they play a pivotal role in the story, right? And it's hard for me to really believe that you have a BT4 or Sparking Zero, and we're losing characters that were in the latest game before this one. It makes no sense. The Cyberman was in the game. Why get rid of him? The Cell Junior was in the game. Why get rid of him? And then you have things like Nappa and Raditz. Raditz is going to be in the game. We know that. We saw it in the last trailer too. But will they have their Grade 8 forms? Grade 8s are playable. It was playable in BT3. Grade 8 Nappa, Grade 8 Raditz. I don't see them not showing up and not having their Grade 8 forms in this game. So I accounted spaces for them too. And I'm actually missing a space for Gohan, Kid Gohan specifically, his grade 8 form. Does he have it? I don't know, but it will make sense for him too. And then I'm also missing another spot for Trunks because oh no, actually no, I'm not missing a spot for Trunks. I'm a fool. I got all of future Trunks's the super variation. I mean, I was no, actually no, I'm missing a form for him. I got base form accounted for, but I forgot to account for his Super Saiyan 2 state. He has Super Saiyan 2 and he has Super Saiyan 1. Uh, I'm not gonna count the Super Ultra whatever grade 3. I'm not gonna count grade 3 because I don't think they're gonna put that for super not super but Super Trunks, yeah. But base form and Super Saiyan 2 or Super Saiyan, whichever one he doesn't have shown right now, including Rage form. I don't I don't I would expect him to have those, right? But I'm missing two slots for Grade 8 Gohan and Super Saiyan or Super Saiyan 2 Super Trunks, whichever one is not being shown. I don't know what that form is that it's showing for Super Trunks, but that's beside the point. So that would leave us with a total of 31 character slots remaining that I can't just blatantly say is going to be a character or this, that, and third. All these other things are forms that are not in the game yet. Uh, I guess one other character I should mention is Kaba. I have him slots saved, but is he going to be in the game? Kalen Cauliflower, and this is going over the super arc and Tournament of Power and the probably Universe 6 tournament as they have hit too. I'm not expecting to see any of the Universe 6 tournament characters, to be honest, because it just whittles the roster down even further. But out of the 80 characters that are shown on here that are just, actually revealed, only 48 of them are actual character slots. The rest are just transformations from them. So even adding, all these other characters, it's just transformations after transformations, and then there's characters that are, going to take up, they're going to be one character, but then they too have a transformation, so you'd have to take up 2 slots for them, and it gets ridiculous. You got Teen Gohan, who wasn't shown until the last trailer. I wouldn't think they're only going to have him in Super Saiyan 2, so base form Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan 2. That's 3 more slots, right? And my grand total for slots remaining would have to be 31 actually. It was originally 33 to 32, depending on if they counted uh Super Frieza in a separate slot for his final form, and that's not even accounting for if they put in his first form, because he did show his first form in a super, but that's not accounting. Also, that's not even accounting for Mecha Frieza. I'm not even gonna count him because it's with so little slots remaining. It's hard to think they're even gonna put him in the game. Uh, so that's 31 characters, 30 or 31 characters, and it just gets worse from there. Because if you tell me GT does make it to the game, which is like a real fuck you if they don't, that's at the very least 10 characters, 10 character slots, because Goku himself has 4. If you tell me they're only going to put base form Goku, I don't believe it, because he has to fight Baby, and he has Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan 3 to Super Saiyan 4. That's 4 slots. And he has to have base form GT because he has to fight Omega if you put GT in here. If you don't put Omega, if you don't go through the whole series, it's kind of like a waste, right? So there's 4 slots for Goku, then Vegeta. Even if you only give him Super Saiyan 4, that makes 6 because of Gogeta. So then you have Omega Shenron, who makes 7 if you don't count Shin, or if you don't put him in the game. 17, who makes 8 if you don't put him. He doesn't have any forms. You're probably not going to put pre 17, pre Super 17 in there. Well, at least the other Super 17, other 17. Jesus, I can't talk. And then you have Baby, who I would assume, even if they only give him Super Baby 2, they'll still give him his grade 8 form, which makes 10. So if you have 10 slots taken away, there's only 20 to 21 slots left. And that's discounting putting any prior forms to Super Baby 2 or Omega or Vegeta, or even any other Shadow Dragons. That's being as generous as I can to GT to at least give them a full saga representation in the game. We don't have Broly or any movie character at all, really. So Z Broly would take in 3 slots, of course, like they say. So from that 21, we already lost 3 slots for just Broly. Cooler's not shown anywhere. If they put him in the game, that's another 3 slots for final form, 5th form, and then Metal Cooler. So that's 6 out off of the possible 21 characters left that I have left. So that's either 14 or 15. Then you have what else? Slug. It's another 2. If you put him in there, it's getting like super downhill from here. And you just lose out on so many other characters. Like there are so many miscellaneous, like just not important characters that like they're there, like you have, well, I can't say not important, but there's so many characters that were in BT3 that you were like, well, these aren't the real powerhouses, but it's great that they're in the game. Like Frieza Soldier, Salza, Grandpa Gohan, Devilman, Babidi, Spopovich, like all these unique, like it's crazy that BT3 had them, and the game was great. The characters were, they were pretty loserish. Tao or whatever, Cyborg. I love Cyborg Tao. I used to love him so much. I don't know why, but it's like all these characters that they didn't really have that. Oh yeah, they're so cool because of their power or whatever. But just having them in the game, being able to fight fucking Broly or Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta with like these characters is like it made it like feel like it was a real Dragon Ball World game. You don't have a Rayleigh, like you don't have the Pilaf gang, you don't have King Cold, King Vegeta, like we don't have Fasha, we don't even have Bardock in this. In Sparking, we don't even have Bardock. They haven't even shown him yet. So even if you do show him, that's a potential 3 slots for base form Great Ape, which I would assume they would have to do Great Ape if you put in Great Apes in there, and then possibly Super Saiyan. I'm not saying they wouldn't do that, but just going off of how they seem to be going, maybe they might not if they do put him in the game. And don't get me wrong, it's not like I'm saying the game is trash or anything. Like it's kind of more like that Kingdom Hearts 3 syndrome where it's like you're expecting so much. Like it's so much to expect. And I guess honestly to me, I should have expected a little less considering that when they showed the roster, they did show all the forms prior anyway as character slots. So it's like, I should have been prepared for this. I mean, I've been hyped up so much until like last trailer where I think what really put it in perspective was the pre-order bonus that unlocks 6 new characters for you early. So you don't have to play through the game to get them. You get 6 characters. But it's Gogeta, and Broly. It just like that's 6 to you? Even if you count BT3's roster, let's be generous. You count BT3's roster and you count it with transformations, it gets up to what? I think 161. It's 161. And I think what they said about Sparking Zero is it's going to be more than that, and I'm pretty sure it's like 168 plus or something like that. Uh Even if you're being like if you're counting transformations, I'm sorry, not even if you're counting transformations. If you go back and count both of them without transformations, BT3 had 98 characters. If you count all the characters that are on here, that 48, you add on all of the existing characters that will come with more forms too, like say Teen Gohan. But if you count them as one, obviously count them as one character, that total is going up slowly, very slowly, to the point where these remaining 30 to 31 characters will only put it at catching up to BT3. It still wouldn't even surpass it. It still would be below that. So it's just like you can't really sell that number to me and make me think that this is going to be the greatest game ever based on that if it's not really even true. Like transformations aren't characters, man. They're part of a character. I can understand the early, the mid, the end of Z, the GT, the Super. I get that. That's cool. Those are different eras. And with that, it will bolster the roster with more than one Goku, more than one Vegeta, more than one etc. But it's still at least like more, it makes more sense than just counting every single character and every single one of their transformations as a different character. It doesn't make sense for you to do that and then try to say that's the big roster, because you take all that away, and again stack it up to BT3. You take all that away, even if you do give us characters, the rest of these characters are just single person characters, no transformations, which would suck because that would mean no GT. Or if it is GT, no Super Saiyan 4, no base Goku. So it's kind of jank if you want to put GT in there and not have Omega Shenron. Or if you do, he doesn't lose to Spirit Boss, Universe Spirit Bomb Goku. It kind of ruins that element of it. But then again, putting any GT character in here and not having their full fleshed out forms, it kind of kills that too. So then you have like, again, it may increase numerically for a little bit, but it doesn't really go up that far because the base form of the character is all I'm going to count for that character. Or rather, one form of that character is going to all that counts. Everything else just comes with it. It comes with that character. This feels like it's a copy and paste, but we're gonna count those copied and pastes as different objects when they're from the same person, the same original source. And the what ifs, they look great. They didn't really show much what if uh you know stories. It was more like what if scenarios, because what if stories are like stories that don't happen at all. These scenarios are more like, what if this happened in this saga instead? Switching variables in a saga rather than a whole different saga. And yeah, again, that's still like that's still something new, and I'm grateful for that. I want that too. I really want that too. It's no point in not having that, because like even they have the statue with Ultra Instinct Goku and Broly. Easily gonna be a amazing what if. But it's not giving the same like true what if energy that it had in the other games like BT3 and Raging Blast, like Bardock versus Gohan and Goten, and Vegito versus Gogeta. And I think that's obviously going to be in the game. They kind of show banter between them, and I do mean like when I say what ifs, I mean like actual storylines, like not just character interactions. Of course, all the characters are probably going to have. I think they're going to do a really good job of that, having all the characters have interactions amongst each other. I don't think there's going to be a single generic interaction that's like, oh, haha, I'm so excited, and whoever else just says something that's completely ignoring the character in front of them. But I think having more fleshed out characters is better for the game, because that's what BT3's spirit was. It was like all these characters that you could play as from Dragon Ball, as far as the strongest to even the weakest. Like we have Hercule in Sparking Zero. If we have Hercule, there's no way we shouldn't get like Babidi, Spopovich, General Blue. We shouldn't not get any of those characters. Why take them out? Like all these movies, we haven't seen a single movie character besides Gogeta and Broly. Those are the only two movie characters we have seen so far, unless you count like Beerus and Whis and Golden Frieza. But again, they also appear in the sagas too, so it's like, well, in the freaking Super arc. But where are they at now? And if you add them, these take up so many slots that you're not gonna get any of these like side characters like Grandpa Gohan or what's his face, Tarble, or the Pilaf gang. You're not getting any of those characters now. You're not getting Devilman. You're not getting Aurelia. You're not getting Spopovich anymore. There's no way you're fitting them in a roster without giving us GT characters. There's no way you're fitting GT characters in a roster without giving us movie characters. Like it's ridiculous. And then on top of that, we just got a release date, and they already have up to 3 DLC sets. Like the game was just in, it's still in development, isn't it? Why do we still? What do we already have a season pass and DLC already fucking planned out? Beast Gohan not in the game. The Gamma's not in the game. Cell Max not in the game. Power Awakening and Orange Piccolo not in the game. That's DLC. So we know they're not going to be any of these random slots because they're going to be DLC. Judging by the Gammas. Because if you're not going to put the Gammas in the game, but have Beast Gohan and Piccolo and Cell Max, that doesn't make any sense. Why are they DLC? Superhero came out 2 years ago. Why is it still DLC? It's DLC in Xenoverse. It's DLC in Fighters. You can get DLC for Legends, or not Legends. I mean, new characters, whatever. I mean, you might as well be DLC. You gotta. But my point is, these games were out already before Superhero. Superhero came out and this game was in development. You have all the time in the world to put this in there. Just do it. Why make me wait and pay for it after the fact? We were anticipating this. Everybody wants to start this game out with everybody. I don't want to pay for characters that should already, like, I'm expecting to be in the game. Again, this is like bringing back to like Kingdom Hearts. How Kingdom Hearts 3 was such a great game. It's a great game, but I guarantee you it could have been a million times better. You don't play with anybody else but Sora, and then the only time you do get introduced to them is in DLC. They took all the Final Fantasy characters out. They removed some mechanics that made the game look like it would have been like even cooler. I mean, not the knock for it. It's not like it's like game killing. It wasn't game killing, but you have all these characters and you could easily flesh them out by having us play with them, but we don't. People that are new to the series, I can't talk. They won't care about Kyra or Lee, but you tell me they're training in a time space that's like infinite time. They have infinite time to train, but you don't put us in there to get more attached to these characters before shit hits the wall. That's a perfect opportunity to do that. Why not? And I'm getting the same thing with this with Sparking Zero. It's like y'all could easily put all of these characters. I will wait another year. I don't care. Because I desire a great game. Not saying this won't be a great game, but I mean like peak expectations. And I know, and what else? The multiplayer, local play is limited to the hyperbolic time chamber. You couldn't give us a split screen. I got split screen in PS2. You can't give it me here on next gen consoles. It can't run split screen? It doesn't have the power to do that? What? Who would? Why? I get, okay, sure, they're giving it to us. At least they're giving it to us. But such a limited version? You might as well just have said, fuck it, make it a single player and only multiplayer online at that point. I'm not here to play Xenoverse. I don't want to see a Xenoverse local play in one map all the time, every time. If I want to play with somebody like my cousin, my friends, or anything, my brother, if I want to play with them locally, I shouldn't have to be limited to something like that. The past few games, this is a game in a series where this was something that was accessible. And in this series, every single game in the series before this one had split screen. Why do I have to exclude it for this one, the newest and the most anticipated in the series? After all that we've been through from then on to here, we are expecting amazing things from this game. How are we taking features that were in the other game and removing them? I don't know what game modes we're gonna get besides versus and story. Who knows? But I would like to see stuff like how Raging Blast had the punching machine and other stuff like that. Survival mode, can we have that? I hope so. I'm not saying like the game is cooked if it doesn't have those, but real disappointing. But also, it makes more sense for it to have these things since they were part of the series. These are things that are part of the series. We had survival. We had a tournament. We had a story mode, time attack. We had all of these things. It was just like, how do you not have these things? I mean, I'm not saying they don't have them because I don't know yet. We don't know if you have those things yet. But the parts of the game that we have so far that we know of, like character roster specifically, which they were really trying to sell out hard on by saying it's going to be the biggest in the game in the series, is looking a little phony. It's hard to believe that this character roster is supposed to be so grand when all I see is transformations and you're counting those as characters. If the pre-order content is early access to 3 to 6 characters when it's just 2 of them with different forms, that's ridiculous. There's another one. I think I saw another one. There's another one. I don't know who it is, but we'll find out, I guess. And then you have Goku with a power pole, but it's on his super variation. So it's not Team Goku. Then you have all these super ultimate editions that are giving you a season pass when the game hasn't even come out yet. The release date just dropped today. Why are you dropping the release date and DLC 1, 2, and 3 in the same trailer? How? How do you do that? That almost feels like they're money grubbing, bro. Like it's almost like, and I'm not trying to hate the game. I'm still gonna buy it. It's fucking the Tenkaichi series. I'm gonna love this shit regardless. But much like Kingdom Hearts 3, I expected way more. Way more. Not to knock it. It looks fantastic. Looks like it's gonna be great. But I expected way more. It's like almost like seeing a fucking a fucking shining fucking god, and it's like, oh well, I can walk at 30 miles an hour and run up to 60. I expected you to be able to move light speed, but I mean, all right, ain't nobody else competing with you. I'm not saying like anything is just shitting on you or whatever. I'm not trying to say any of the past games are just better. We don't even know yet because we haven't played it yet. I haven't played it yet, at least, and it looks great. But I expected way more. If you're trying to sell me on a roster, I expected more than that. I expected more than what we're getting. You updated the graphics. You updated the series that get added to it, but you detracted from that too. We took Dragon Ball out, we took GT out, we took movies out. Well, I'm not saying they're confirmed out, but I find it hard to believe we're gonna get all of GT and all of movies and all of Dragon Ball. Considering that, it being generous, Dragon Ball takes up 10 slots at the very least, and that's with 30 slots left, 30 to 31, and that's still not counting like first form Frieza from the Super series. Does the Super Saga have final form Frieza, or is he going to be attached to Namek Saga Frieza and just have higher transformations than full power later on? When you unlock them or whatever. Is there a tournament of Power Saga? They have Super, and well, you know what? I think the Super Saga is just gonna be the Broly movie people. Like they showed Super Goku. It's called Super Goku, but it's very clearly him using moves he used in the Broly movie. So it's just like, it's all right, I guess. I mean, whatever. I'm cool with that. I'll let that slide. But then you have like, where's my General Blue? Where's my Kid Goku? Because if you add him, guess what? You add Kid Goku, that's 2 slots. Because he has grade 8 form. Do we have Roshi in a game? We can count him for Z and Dragon Ball since he didn't really do too much in Z. But, he could have his super form too, which they didn't show. They have a super Roshi who looks like he's just in his super form. I don't know if he has a base form or not. Or if that was his super form and they're both linked already. Who knows? It's hard to gander when all transformations count as separate characters. I've been ranting for a lot, so I'm gonna go ahead and shut up now. I don't know one's probably gonna watch this anyway, but that's just my thoughts on Sparking Zero. It looks like it's gonna be a great game. Not mad about that. It's gonna be a good game. It's just I expected much more from the roster and the the making of the game. Like how you put out DLC this fast? You're telling me you're up to 3 DLC 1, 2, and 3 already? The game just got a release date today. And then we have the season pass. And don't get me started. If you can't summon Shenron without having the season pass, because it says season pass summon Shenron. It doesn't say early access or free summon or any of that. It just says summon Shenron if you get the season pass. You can summon Shenron, and then if you do the ultimate, you can get the super Shenron. You can summon with him. It's like, are we really locking this behind paywalls? That was in every game too. Summoning Shenron. You get the Dragon Balls, you get to summon Shenron. That was in all of the BT games prior. Why are we putting it behind a paywall? A season pass? I can't. I can't understand it. It literally doesn't make any sense. But that's all.